Okay. Hello everyone. Today I'm pretty much just going to do a quick response to our lovely friend Sam Seder, and the reason I'm not doing it in a edited video response is because honestly, this type of video is a little simplistic and I don't know a little below my belt. It's just a simple Sam Seder misrepresenting Dennis Prager. Heck, it's even in the title. Yeah, I don't even need to use any sources for this one. It's just pretty much simply Sam Seda and more importantly Emma Vigeland misrepresenting Dennis. I even have some times I've even duplicated the tabs just to show where importantly to contrast you know how badly the Majority Report team has misrepresented this. Yeah, this video is going to be this stream is going to be pretty short. I'm aiming for 10-20 minutes. But yeah, I guess let's just get on with the video.
Dennis Prager apparently is trying to.
This was my choice clip of the day. Thank you for
Subtle.
picking it out.
Please go ahead.
Well, no, I mean,
Introduce it.
Dennis Prager wants you to know about his sex life and his preferences that are a little rapey, as they say.
And basically, what I said was this: given how
Okay, so apparently the context of this is that Samantha Bee criticized Dennis Prager on some allegedly pro rape comments, or but Dennis, who frankly I don't have much respect for, especially in the last few weeks when he basically it cowardly ducked out of tried to run away from Sam Seder, or basically when Sam Seder called on his show, Prager pretty much quickly cut the call, um which similar to Crowder, except I guess Crowder was a bit more credible since he at least allowed Sam to be on there for maybe 10 minutes, but still I'm hating this pattern of right wingers in the first few years complaining about lefties debating, and then when there's an annoying lefty like Sam Seder requesting debates, they just run away. I mean, I don't care if Sam Seder is dishonest. Cenk Hugo was also dishonest, and Steven Crowder was willing to debate him. Ben Shapiro debated him, and I agree that Cenk Hugo can be pretty dishonest. Actually, I think Cenk is worse than Seder. So honestly, I don't think conservatives have much of an excuse, which is actually why it's pretty surprising that Dennis ran away from him. But since I do think some of Prager's arguments are pretty bad, but as considering how Sam easily misrepresents the arguments, he hasn't well I'll show you, but from this video it'd be pretty surprising why Dennis ran away from the debate. Although in another ways, showing how conservative arguments have just really gone downhill to the point that even Sam Seder could debunk them. Although in this, all right, I'll just resume.
important.
Well, actually, listen carefully, if for this what Prager says, since it's key to this whole video and the stream.
Sex is to most men. And basically, what I said was this: given how important sex is to most men, it is, if you love your husband, and I said that, and he treats you well, don't always allow mood to determine whether you will sleep with him.
Okay, if you heard what Prager said, but I'm gonna repeat this clip multiple times, but just to hammer home what he's.
Don't always allow mood to determine whether you will sleep with him.
Yeah, don't always allow mood to factor whether a wife should like sleep with a husband, like emphasis on always, meaning from this implication that sometimes you can allow mood to reject intercourse, and other times aims it may be better like as a marital duty to provide like intercourse, like even if you're not in the mood, because it's more like you love your husband, and how like in marriage you do things that you don't like to benefit the other, whether it's the husband or the wife. But yeah, this is I'll probably reiterate this point multiple times, because this is clearly not getting into like Sam's thick skull.
Because mood, yes, it's not only fair enough. The number of couples who have told me that it.
And the funny thing is, Prager like chose his words carefully, because he knew that if he didn't, he'd be like strawmanned like to hell. But it happened anyway.
It has so helped.
But considering like some of Dennis's other bad arguments, maybe he does deserve like the straw man, but for a different reason.
Their marriage is innumerable. That was it. I didn't say if you look like Frankenstein.
It's probably innumerable.
Sleep with your husband. All I said was, in general, don't let feelings be the only determinant of your behavior.
Another thing he said, don't let feelings be the only determinant in whether or not you're going to have intercourse. So clearly it isn't. Actually, Emma says something like different to this, which is why I want you to which is why I want you to remember like exactly what Dennis is saying.
General, don't let feelings be the only.
Sorry, someone was in my room.
Only determinant of your behavior. That was the radical nature of what I wrote.
Well, we know how radical the left gets on feelings versus facts these days.
It is.
Fucks don't, guys go real quick. Fucks don't care about your feelings.
Language.
That was amazing. Yeah, it's what should motivate you to have sex with your husband then? Just it's because it's your marital duty?
No, how well he treats you.
Oh, right.
What kind of allowance he gives you.
Yes.
Does he let you use the credit card and go to, Neiman Marcus?
Okay, so yeah, I guess they clearly are strawmanning a bit, but like it's more like what Emma says, but actually let me just replay that.
How
Husband then. Yeah, it's what should motivate you to have sex with your husband then?
Well, as Prager said, like multiple things. Sometimes it's mood, sometimes it's the love for your husband, or like for the husband, the love of your wife. But and also Dennis Prager said if he treats you well, so like not even like an abusive like husband, and so I don't know. Dennis seems pretty feminist right there.
Just it's because it's your marital duty that you to have.
And notice how Emma says it's just like she's basically claiming, and I think maybe Seder, probably agrees with her, that like there's only one condition when Dennis Prager gone out of his way to state multiple conditions. And honestly, it's quite surprising because Dennis sounds like pretty smart. Like I don't know, for some reason, like usually he's parroting some unintelligent conservative talking points, but anyway.
Sex with your husband, then just it's because it's your marital duty.
No, how well he treats you.
Oh, right.
What kind of allowance he gives you.
Yes.
Does he let you use the credit card?
Yeah, notice how like Seder jokingly like claims that Prager like jokingly claims that like this Prager's like point could be like lead to like whether or not how basically like Seder is claiming that a consequence of Prager's argument, or maybe jokingly or not, is that and this line of logic would justify a controlling like husband and to like have like intercourse, or that like a justification for like a woman having like intercourse with a husband would be like if he's less controlling, but obviously implying that he already has too much control, such as like whether or not he's letting the wife use the credit card. But like say Dennis Prager said, if he treats you well, and I guess that one implication of that would be like a good like husband would be letting the woman use a credit card. But I'm gonna be honest, I think I'm talking way too much, but I'll just like speed this up a bit
and go to Neiman Marcus.
Right.
And if he does, then you should give him sex.
It is
I mean, I think that's right. I mean, is that not the?
I mean, this is like, I feel like the premise of a more raunchy I Love Lucy plot, but yeah, it's like all about, if she'll be a good wife if Desi gives her a little bit more of an allowance. And I think I learned a little too much about Dennis Prager's sex life. A little bit there. He goes on TV to rant about, hey,
Now,
I don't need to make my wife feel nice or feel good. I expect that she has sex with me just because it's her duty.
Oh, okay, but Dennis just said that if your husband treats you well, so already that part is like debunked. But he also said don't let mood always control or whether or not you want to have like intercourse, which means again that sometimes if you're not in the mood, you shouldn't do it, but like other times when you're not in the mood, it's a like good idea to do it. It's all right. How do I like explain this? Okay, like say for the husband, if maybe like after 5 days of like hard work, just working, like you're not you and your wife decide to like go on a like dinner date, but you're not in the mood, but you go on a date with her, you pay for like the food, like the night out, the restaurant, and you do it, and even though you're not in the mood because you love your wife, if like that, and in a way that's kind of a marital like obligation to like do things that you're not, even if you're not in the mood for it sometimes.
Do you think that it's possible that this is Prager's way of basically complaining maybe a little bit about things that like...
Yeah, no therapy for me, no marriage therapy. I'm not going to really talk to my wife about her feelings, maybe why she's not interested in having sex with me, maybe because I expect things. And
well, considering that Dennis Prager was divorced twice, maybe he doesn't need marriage therapy, but like what he said doesn't seem to be him like complaining at all about his wife, if or like anything like that,
and don't communicate with her. Instead, I think I'm just going to go on OAN, air our sex life publicly, and then hopefully she responds. It's very classic conservative passive aggressive communication style. I almost respect it, honestly.
I don't know what she's talking about there, but in terms of like how this is representative of conservatives, but anyway.
Prager?
This is a long-standing problem with Prager, though, and
Wait, someone's in the room. I'll just mute. Give me a few. Yeah, sorry, like All right, now back to the video.
I should go back and see how that came up, because he said something like this before and people have been making fun of him for it for a year or so.
He was responding to a segment done by Samantha Bee. That was what the Cairo.
A piss poor comedian. I think, frankly, what it is, I'm pretty sure her show's cancelled. But let me see. Let me see. Is show cancelled? Let's see. Ah, thank goodness. Oh, goody goody. Although I've just seen the like article and like some like stuff like conservative media. So I don't know. Maybe that's I've heard about it, but like I don't know. Maybe there's like some information and or like how the media sources are these days, that they're really like counterfactual. Like I suggest you read the whole article, but like it's probably true, but like considering how pathetic like media sources are, they both right wing or left wing. And like I suggest you read it for yourself, like to confirm that like Samantha Bee's show is actually cancelled, but I'm pretty sure it is. I haven't read the article yet, but
I mean, like, think about where this takes the conversation. Okay, but women should, no matter her mood, have sex with her husband.
Yes, this is one of the like probably the main reasons I did this stream. So,
but I mean, like, think about where this takes the conversation. Okay, but women should, no matter her mood, have sex with her husband.
And let's see, what does Prager say here?
It is, if you love your husband, and I said that, and he treats you well, don't always allow mood to determine whether you will sleep with him. Because you
and what did he say? Don't always allow mood to determine whether you should sleep with him. So this clearly contradicts what like Emma's pretty much saying. She says no matter your mood, when Dennis Prager clearly said, don't let mood be your overall determinant.
But I mean, like, think about where this takes the conversation. Okay, but women should, no matter her mood, have sex with her husband.
Wrong.
That is rape. That's rape. I mean, that is a real.
No. Like maybe from your straw man argument, that's like a logical implication, but no.
Old school dynamic that he's trying to project onto everyday society that I think is a lot more personal than he's admitting there.
What seems to be more of a like old school like argument is lefties pretty much strawmanning the opposition as sexist or rapist. But anyway,
and folks, I think I hope everyone realizes that it certainly in my lifetime, but I mean I think I was still an adult where
now they start to like get into the more logical point about how men and how women, even though like America like had the right to vote like 100 years ago, like 50 years ago there was still a lot of like limitations, and it depends on like the state, but like there were like limitations on like what like women could do, like actually the state would explain it right here, but like this stuff I definitely like agree with, but it has like nothing to do with like what Prager said.
Where you still had a tremendous number of states in this country where you could not be charged with rape if it was your wife. That there was the concept of
and yeah, that's fair. Like there are some like attitudes, even like Sam said he's roughly like 50 years old, so it's not that like long ago as we'd like to admit. So there are problems, some regressive attitudes about how the idea that somehow your husband how your husband isn't a rapist, even though he's, you know, that this regressive idea that somehow if you're married you can't be a rapist. But yeah, like, but thankfully, like, people change. Heck, like, that conservatives change, like traditionalists change, progressives change, you know, people, like, you know, change. And like Dennis, like, for all of his faults, when it came to like the point he was making in this, you know, video, like, it's pretty pro like woman, like, especially all of the conditions he like stipulated. Although I have to like give credit to like Sam Sadis for like giving the full context, so it, which pretty much gave me like enough, you know, material to like debunk like what Sada was saying about like Dennis.
Raping your wife was it's not possible. She's your wife. I mean, up until very recently, many states, and certainly, you know, at one point it was all states, your wife was your chattel. My mom, when I was my son's age, who's now 8, my mom still, I don't think, could get a credit card in her name. I mean, it was nuts. I mean, it's sort of, think of the concept of that. It's just bizarre.
Again, yeah, but think of how, too, he's privileging his own desires and sees his desires as paramount and should overrule her feelings.
Yeah, again, like this video of me is just pretty much just repeating the same talking point, but why not?
Rapey, as they say.
And basically what I said was this: given how important sex is to most men, it is, if you love your husband, and I said that, and he treats you well, don't always allow mood to determine whether you will sleep with him.
Don't always allow mood. Don't always allow mood to decide whether or not you're going to sleep with him. Like, from like Dennis Prager's like argument, there's an obvious implication that the woman has a choice. Oh, hi, you know, yeah, hi, this is my buddy John Claymore. Yeah, thanks for watching. And yeah, he has like channel, like, actually maybe I could like you know, link it like, you know, later, but like first let me just get back to the video.
Of course.
I mean, that's just of course. That's insane.
Well, it's interesting that it has to be sort of argued as this is just good for everybody, as opposed to what that used to be, which is just like, yeah, woman, like, this is your job, right? Like, you have to dress it up in Pragerese.
Ladies, the way to have a good marriage is to service your husband, regardless of what you're interested in. But if you want a good marriage,
Based. Okay, but in all seriousness, I don't believe that. But knowing some dishonest lefties, if they just clipped what I just said and didn't watch the rest of the stream, they'd. But yeah, I don't know how many times I can say no. Dennis Prager didn't say that. Yeah, what else? Yeah, I'm not sure what else I can say. I guess I'll let the rest of the like video play just for like, you know, context. You can watch like the video yourself if you want without me like pausing it. So it's called Dennis Prager's Poor Wife.
it's only if you want a good marriage. If you don't want a good marriage, then that's what it is. It's nice. It's nice to be a guy because you don't really have any of the same
she'll
obligations.
feel happier if she ignores her feelings and only respects her husband's.
Oh yeah, the classic like white male. Sorry, not white male. The classic male privilege argument. Like there are, I do agree that like men do have like some advantages over women, such as physical strength. So they're like less likely to be worried about like, you know, threats of like violence anyway, or the ability to be a bit more like assertive, like due to testosterone. But like women also have like a lot of advantages. Like it's you know, they have like much power, like to be able to like accuse a man of like, you know, sexual like assault versus like a man like doing it vice versa. Yeah, but anyway, I'm gonna like continue this.
As a married man, my only responsibility to maintaining the good marriage is to have a desire for sex.
Yes.
And then
No, like again, there's Prager didn't say that, but like this point, I'm just beating a dead horse.
And everything else takes care of itself because my wife is obligated to provide for me.
And then like just
That sounds pretty sexist of you, Seda. Well, I guess like the one thing they could argue is that Dennis actually doesn't mean what he says, and he's actually a full-blown sexist, like who's trying to dog whistle, like I don't know, like controlling women like sexually, like in marriages. But I don't know, they didn't even like say that. They completely strawmanned his like argument. But anyway,
throw a roll of hundreds at her at the beginning of the week, and then she's all set.
I'd leave it on the bureau.
Yeah, it's too much effort to actually do the wrist flick.
No, that's rude.
Okay, good. Like I finally finished watching that like trash heap, but yeah, I guess I can end it like here. Like I would like invite like other people to like join me, but like if I do that, then like I don't know, my thing would be like too long, like video wise. Yeah, this is Claymore's channel. Yeah, he actually did a video like similar to me. Like mine was a lot more like quick, and but he has a lot more like of a detailed like video talking about like Biden's like gun take. Yeah, I would recommend like his channel. He's a lot more like current events such. Well, me, I don't know, I'm a lot more like of a weekly guy. I guess I post videos more weekly, but even then, like, post making like a lot that my like edited content is like I don't know, pretty hard and long. Yeah, so like just linked his channel in the comments if you want to see. Yeah, thanks for watching, and also the Sam Seda bloody Reddit, like here was the yeah, if you want, like, feel free to like join my Sam Seda like failed subreddit. Yeah, I don't post much on it because the right now it's only like me posting, but like I'm hoping to like eventually make it bigger, like maybe more people like posting, and I've been kind of like busy, so like hopefully I'll try and post more on here. But anyway, like thank you everyone for joining. Actually, I think I'll link the Sam Seda subreddit as well. Yeah, there is a reason why I ask other people to join me, is because I don't know, I'll be honest, I'm not that interesting like on stream. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I actually have a video where there's someone who made a response video to me. I plan on responding to that, but if I talk anymore, then this video is going to get this stream is going to get unnecessarily longer. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and see you later.